The NFL's legal tampering period started this morning, and there might be a couple guys the Chiefs are looking at, and we're going to talk about it right after this little intro. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's go, baby.
What happened? Everything's technical difficulties today. X has been down all morning. You can't even see who's getting signed, what's going on. Everything's going wrong today, Steve. What's going on?
Same old, my man. Trying to wake up a little bit here. I took a little nappy nap right before this, like a
Who takes
power
a nap at 10 a.m.?
A little 20-minute power nap. People that only sleep for 2 hours and have to get up and get 20 kids ready for school. That's who
You're
does
like
that.
You're like Kramer on Seinfeld, who just started doing the power nap thing. Like you would just nap for 20 minutes every so often.
That's what happened. It's exactly what happened. You do that and you drink some Mountain Dew and you hope for the best. That's what you do, Mike. But hey, the legal tampering period started today, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. And yeah, it's confusing. I know. Free agency is confusing. It feels like they're already signing people, but those were people that were cut. And then you can re-sign players, and it's crazy. I know it's a lot. But now it's legal tampering. Now the guys are actually free agents. You can tamper with them. Legally. You know, they've been tampering already, but that wasn't legal. Now it's okay.
Hey,
and you know what else?
This is how we ended up with our right tackle.
This is how we ended up with Jaylon Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, tampering with things we should have been tampering with.
Don't you be tampering out there.
Hey, but it's legal now, and you know what else is legal, Mike? Hitting that like button, baby. Hit that like button. Help your boys out. Do all that good stuff. Hope you all are doing good this morning. Mike, what do you think? What do you think the Chiefs are looking at in this legal tampering period?
Good night. A lot of things. I think we lost out on the DK Metcalf thing. I thought that was kind of a home run for Brett Veach if he wanted to go that route, because I still do not think there are any serviceable tackles to spend money on here. I really don't. People can argue with that, I guess. I mean, and I'm fine with it. If you want to argue with it, I'm totally fine with it. I just don't think that there's anything there that was that great. So I thought that would have been something to look at. He ended up signing for $33 million. Good on him, I guess. I guess he actually bumped up the price because it wasn't a warm weather situation there in Pittsburgh. And he has no quarterback worth of crap. So he somehow ends up in a worse quarterback situation.
Basically, everything he said was wrong, right?
Yeah, which we said that. You can't help where you go. They're going to trade you. They're going to trade you. They're not going to be like, hey, buddy, where you want to go? You want to go to Cancun? Where you want to go? And then they're like, let's do everything to do it. So yeah, this is the one thing that we read this morning. According to the Athletics' Diana Rossini, the Chiefs are going to show interest in Morgan Moses, along with a few other teams, as the legal tampering period begins for the free agency on Monday. Morgan Moses, Steve. Here's Morgan Moses. He is a 34-year-old right tackle. What does this solve for the Chiefs?
Nothing.
Steve,
nothing.
What is a 34? Look, this guy would have been a good pickup 2 or 3 years ago instead of Jaylon Taylor at right tackle for a few years. If you wanted to go that route and just draft like a Kingsley to replace him, or let Wanye Morris develop and replace him, and that would have saved us $80 million. But going out and grabbing Morgan Moses now is insane. Here was his numbers from last year. I brought these up for you guys. Here's the full week. He looked pretty decent. 16 pressures is all he allowed all year. 12 hurries, 2 hits, and 2 sacks there with the Jets. But again, he played right tackle. That doesn't do anything for our left tackle situation. Those are two drastically different positions. You can even see in week 1 and week 17, I don't know what happened there, but the dude scored a 22.4 and a 25.2. So he had 2 bookend trash weeks there with the Jets. Over his career, he's been pretty solid. 332 pressures, 51 sacks allowed since 2014. So he's been in the league 10 years. And then if you bring up his pass blocking statistics through all of 2024, you can see him right there. He's ranked number 34. He's ranked right behind Jaylon Taylor, except for he's not making $80 million. So we had that. He also gave up 2 sacks to Jaylon Taylor's 7 sacks. I think that's hilarious as well. If you look down the list, you'll see Cam Robinson at number 40. So he was actually a little bit more effective than Cam Robinson. And if you look all the way down at 41, You'll see Dan Moore Jr., Steve, who we're getting ready to talk about in a minute. He's also being rumored to be looked at by the Chiefs.
Yeah, not interested.
You're not interested in Morgan Moses?
No.
39-year-old Morgan Moses, huh?
No, I mean, why would you? What's the point? We're not doing this convert a right tackle to left tackle garbage anymore. Just give it up. Like, literally, at this point, just talk to DJ Humphries, get him for the year, draft a guy, develop him, and hope for the best, because that's the best you're going to do right now. All these guys that are available are trash. They're garbage. No one cares about this dude. He's a right tackle. He's 47 years old. It does nothing for us. It moved the needle nada.
Yeah, the reasoning was, this is the latest. This is the latest plug and play guy that can help kick the can down the road. I'm tired of kicking the freaking can down the road.
I mean, you got to kick the can down the road a little bit. You have no choice.
Okay,
but you don't do it by signing a trash guy that's like 80. What's the point? We don't need a right tackle anyway. We're already paying somebody $80 million to play right tackle.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. So, anyways, let's move on to the next few that we need to be looking at here. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer says he believes that the Chiefs' next two targets, after they missed out on Stanley, are Jaylon Moore, the backup left tackle for the 49ers that played in replacement of Trent Williams a few games, or the Steelers' Dan Moore Jr. If I'm not mistaken, Dan Moore Jr. come out of Texas A&M. He's not that great. We talked about him yesterday, Steve. He's 26, 6'5", 315. Okay, this is what he did last year. All the way down the board. He looked pretty good in the wild card game. I'll give him that with Pittsburgh. He blanked Baltimore's pass rush. He scored at 83.7, pretty good. But look at all the inconsistency in this play. He goes from an 88.7 to a 64 to a 49 versus Bosa and Mack and the Chargers. I mean, that's horrible. You're going to play them twice a year. You've got Vegas. He scored a 59.5 against Max Crosby, one of the worst scores of the year. You're going to play him twice.
Look what Trey Hendrickson did to him in Week 18.
Trey Hendrickson, Week 18. Yeah, 39.3. He did play Trey Henderson all the way back, though, in Week 13, did pretty good. 2 pressures, no sacks, scored a 70.4. So, Myles Garrett, a 40.1 versus Myles Garrett. Joe Thuney, not even a left tackle, and played better than that. Look what Kansas City did to him. 5 pressures, 3 hurries, and 2 sacks from George Karlaftis and Charles Omenihu, who halfway didn't even show up on the season. Dan Moore's a little bit overrated. This is what he's done in his career. 59.5 in his rookie season, a 42 last year. So, yeah, he did up it. But look at those 260s with a 42 sitting smack dab in the middle. He's allowed 34 sacks and 184 pressures in 4 years. And you want to pay him like he's a top-tier left tackle and think that guy's going to be a change? Steve, we're just doing more of the same. Every year, it's like we can't learn.
Hey, more. We should get more and more.
I would rather have Sky
more. We don't need any of that shit. Get out of here. All right, so what we're going to do here, if Brett Veach is smart, which I think he's a smart man, he's just going to get DJ Humphries to play the next year and hope for the best there. I think that's what's going to happen. You're in no position to get a good left tackle right now. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to draft one and maybe count your lucky stars that they could just somehow win that left tackle job. And they're that great just right off the rip. There's just nothing to talk about here. I feel like if the Chiefs make any more moves before the draft, other than re-signing guys that they can, or just plug in holes, I think they have to look at something different, because left tackle, yes, we need it. We need it bad. Everybody knows that.
Would love to have a left tackle, but where are you going to get one?
Just nothing to do. Maybe
we can get Elon or somebody to create an AI left tackle, a robot left tackle. Steve, the other guy he mentioned though was Jaylon Moore. Like nobody even knows who Jaylon Moore is. I'll give you a little bit of insight on Jaylon Moore. 6'4", 311. Not too bad. He's got a little shorter arms than you like to see. But this is what he did last year filling in for Trent Williams. And honestly, don't look bad. He had 158 pass block reps last year, only allowed 10 pressures and a sack. That's a lot better than the last Dan Moore we looked at. Okay? Looks a lot better than that Moore. Probably looks a lot better than Morgan Moses. So it looks like Jaylon Moore might be the top of the list. And
Wait, so the only guy not last name Moore is Morgan.
Yeah, wild, huh? Look what KC did. KC had a
Jeez.
pressure and a hit against him within 8 pass block reps. He didn't play much there. His actual games he played was week 12 through 16. 77, 75, 78, 75. That was against some decent pass rushers. Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, the Rams. And then Miami in week 16 kind of ate some lunch there against him in 23 pass block snaps. During his career, again, he's looked decently solid. He was a little shaky his first 2 years. His last 2 years when he played a little bit, he got up there. And he come out of Western Michigan, Steve, at 6'4", 311. Again, a little under 34-inch arms, but not much. And he played next to Mike Caliendo. That was his college teammate. So
Western
if
Michigan,
they watched Caliendo tape and they liked Caliendo, there may be some scouting they had done on this kid, Jaylon Moore. So he may be in the system as a potential target.
Well, something about a Moore from Western Michigan just kind of scares me a bit.
We do like the draft from Western Michigan, Central Michigan a lot.
He does have better hair than the other guys, and honestly, I think that he's got more hope than the other ones. He's
a little bit more potential in my opinion.
this-
Jaylon Moore has a little bit brighter future than those other two.
Absolutely, I'd almost feel better plugging him in than any of these other guys, right?
Yeah.
Outside of DJ Humphreys, think Donovan Smith can come off the couch and quit eating Doritos. He's
Chiefs
like,
Kingdom
what is
thinks
he, like
he
40
can.
now?
I
How
don't
old is
know
he?
if that works,
Look.
but
What's O'Donovan doing? Donovan Smith.
I'm kind of wondering what Jaylon
He's
Moore
only
is going.
31.
Donovan Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Got
wondering
some
what
gas left in
Jaylon
the
Moore
tank.
is going to garner here in free agency, because I've heard that he's a big name. People are looking at him as a left tackle to pay, which is kind of wild. That just proves, that's 100% proof of what we've been saying, Steve. If Jaylon Moore, a backup left tackle that's played in literally 5 games started this year, can garner this much attention and this much money, what a horrible free agency left tackle class you have.
It's just bad for
And how bad is the draft class?
It's not a good year to not have a left tackle. Let's just
It's
say
not
that.
been a good year to have a left tackle.
It's never a good year to not have a left tackle.
Right.
This year in particular is not a good one. Just all there is to it. Mike, you talked a little bit about DK Metcalf getting traded. He went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They ended up paying him $33 million. So a little outside of probably what the Chiefs wanted to pay a guy anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
Anything over, what, 11 million? We ain't even going
yeah,
to consider it.
God knows the top of the market for us is going to be like a DeMarcus Robinson. right?
Hollywood almost priced us out at $11 million, man.
So you still have one guy that they haven't really replaced, and I don't know if they need to, because they went and got him midway through the season. That was after Rashee Rice was hurt, so maybe they don't think they need it. But they haven't re-signed D-Hop.
Decoy?
They haven't had Decoy in there. So, I mean, is there room for another wide receiver? We were talking about making that move and trying to beef up the offense in different ways, since you can't just find a really good left tackle off the street. You know, there's not just left tackles, like elite ones just chilling, waiting for a call. Who would
weird,
have
huh?
thought? You know, I don't know. I think I seen a guy on the street yesterday. You know, he looked like he could play left tackle. He's probably just waiting for something like this
said,
to happen.
Homeless, we'll play left tackle. And I
We'll
was
play
like,
left
hey,
tackle for food.
might be better than the options we have.
I'm gonna go throw that
Sign
guy a
this guy
couple
up.
of quarter pounders with cheese, a little QPC action.
We
See if he
talked
can
about
play left
QPCs
tackle.
at 11:17 in the morning, Steve. I'm a little ready for lunch. So don't be talking about the quarter pounder, okay?
No, but yeah, maybe there's some other targets they can look at. We'll talk a little bit about that and some other stuff. Let's get to the chat real quick. We got Chief Deloria with a 2-bomb. Says bring back Willie Gay and Charvarius Ward. What do you think about it, Michael?
I'm down to bring back Willie Gay. I wouldn't be opposed to that one. I like Willie Gay. I like what he brings to the team, as in he gets them fired up. He's like the Pacheco of the defense, right?
Fire
Like we
'em up,
missed that a
baby.
little bit, I thought. Chris Jones does a good job of that too. I think Justin Reed done a pretty good job of that this year, but you know, McDuffie doesn't seem like he's the kind of guy. Great corner, but he don't seem like the fiery kind of guy that gets in your face. Neither does Nick Bolton. I feel like you need a Willie Gay that gets him pumped, gets him going. Charvarius Ward, he had a lot of personal issues last year, and rightfully so. I could see why his game dropped off. I don't know if his head's in it still, and I don't know what he would be wanting to make. If he wanted to sign for cheap, I wouldn't be opposed as depth. I really would not. I just don't know what he would take. But I really do like the Willie Gay signing. I'd be fine with Willie Gay over Ward. If both of them signed at a good price, I wouldn't scoff at it, man. I don't think you could ever have too much linebacker or corner depth, to be honest.
Right, get you a hype guy and you get you a decent corner. Not bad. Sarvarius Ford's not going to be cheap, though, I don't think.
He's not, but his play did drop.
Especially
so
with
maybe
J.C.
his market's
Horn
not
out
as
there
high.
signing for $100 million.
Right, dude. Bring that up. The Panthers and J.C. Horn agreed to 4 years of $100 million extension.
That is an ugly dude.
Steve, this is not a good day for Brett Veach to have drunk his feet on getting Trent McDuffie signed. Because is McDuffie now going to say, I want to set the market?
That needs to happen as soon as possible. The extension of Trent McDuffie needs to be at the forefront. They have to hurry up and get that done before this market goes wild. Because J.C. Horn just started it. So I think that's definitely something they need to be getting done because McDuffie ain't going nowhere. They got to extend him.
Does McDuffie ask for more than Horn? Does he say, I want to be the highest paid? Like, do you think McDuffie's that guy?
I don't think McDuffie is that guy, but I just think in general, everyone
His
in the
agent
NFL
might be
is
that
that
guy.
guy. And his agent's that guy because his agent gets paid a percentage of that. So guess what? He's that guy. And Trent McDuffie is better than J.C.
Did that just
Horn.
price us out of Trent McDuffie being the one to break the cycle here?
I think they're still going to extend him. He'll be the first corner that we actually give like a second contract to. We'll extend
It's going to be an expensive second contract.
It's going to be expensive. Bryant Williamson with a 2 says, in the words of the water boy, oh no, we suck again.
We suck again.
Let's go.
Dude.
Hey, that's some high quality H2O. Flapjack says with the 2 bomb.
I like all the football references today.
The water boy references?
Little
you mean?
water boy references. I'm down
Football.
with it.
Hey, water boy is football in general.
We could have wore our Bobby Boucher jerseys that K. Wayne sent us.
I know. I said
If I would have known this was going to be a Boucher kind of day.
a Boucher day. Not a Uche day, but a Boucher day.
Uche don't play. Only Boucher play.
Maybe some hay down by the bay. I just may. Godplar with the 2 bomb says, I wonder if Josh Simmons falls because of injury. What do you think, Michael?
I think Josh Simmons has got a good chance to get into us in the back of the first. But you just said it yourself. He's coming off of a major injury. I do think he's going to be ready to go by his pro day. I think he's going to be doing a lot of stuff. But again, he kind of missed a lot of time last year. He's a young guy. He's coming in. He's going to be facing elite pass rushers for the first time. He's probably more equipped to do it than Kingsley was, but he's still going to have his struggles. He could be a guy in the future. I just wouldn't feel comfortable plugging and playing Josh Simmons just right off the rip and letting it go. Like, I still think you need some veteran leadership. But if you did bring back DJ Humphries and then you got Josh Williams late in the first, I would be fine with that if he looks like he healed up and all his medicals check out. The kid can play.
Yep, yeah.
He might be one of your only options, to be honest.
There's not a lot out there. But yeah, I think he could definitely fall to the Chiefs there. And if he does, I'm sure they'll give him a look.
There's a lot to like about Josh Simmons. There really is.
If he's at the top of their board, then hell, they might just go ahead and pick him. You never really know. We got another 2 bomb from Flapjack. Says, all this tells me is our O-line coach sucks. Mike Andy Heck's been catching some heck.
Yeah, he's been catching some heck.
What about it, man? You think Andy Heck deserves it? You think he's having trouble developing these boys? They keep drafting and they keep drafting. Good God, we can go all the way back to Lucas Nyang. All the way back to Nyang. Okay, we can go back to that. They've drafted several guys since then. I mean, over and over and over again, they've invested in the offensive line and no one has panned out. No one. The interior guys, yes, they hit on Creed Humphrey. They hit on Trey Smith. But we haven't developed one single tackle into anything. I mean, we're talking Lucas Yang, Darian Kennard, Sua Mataia, Wanye Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I don't know. Is it Andy Heck's fault or are they just picking the wrong guys every time?
I think it's a combination of a little bit of everything. I think that maybe they are drafting, like Kingsley, like we all knew that Kingsley was not a plug and play right off the rip left tackle. Now, you said last year that he was going to win, he was going to start, he was going to do this. You were right because we were looking at what the Chiefs were going to do and we were predicting what they were going to do. I do think that you had to know that there were going to be some lumps there. Now, did I know that by getting beat up by Trey Hendrickson a little bit in week 2 was going to get you benched for the entire season?
Now, that was pretty crazy, to be honest.
I didn't think that was going to be a thing because by the time he got another shot later in the season, he hadn't really had any reps to get better by.
Hey, I read this book. It was called How to Kill Your Rookie Tackle's Confidence for Dummies. And it was pull them completely out of the game and just
Written
completely
by
take
Andy Reid and Andy Heck.
Just go ahead. Second week playing the best defensive end in football last year.
I think he did prove, though.
Yeah, but get his ass
he did
out.
prove that he's probably not the left tackle. Now, he could be a Jawan Taylor replacement in the future. You drafted Kingsley at the end of the – you draft guys, anybody, not just Kingsley. You draft anybody in the second round, 9 times out of 10, that is a serviceable early backup that can develop. You don't draft guys in round 2, round 3 that you're just going to plug and play usually, unless it's a guy that's fell, slipped, or you just know he fits your system perfectly. So, yeah, Andy Heck does have something to prove, I do believe, because he really hasn't developed lots of – I mean, I guess you could say Trey Smith, but Trey Smith was just way underdrafted because of a medical issue. It wasn't like he was just a legit 5th or 6th round pick and Andy Heck turned him into a monster.
Right.
This kid was good in college. So I would say the closest thing he's actually done as in developing a player to play might be Caliendo. Like he's the only guy that they got UDFA, right? And put him on the practice squad, developed him, and he played a little bit. That might be the only scenario he's got here.
Because he wasn't Joe Tooney. Everyone hated him. Hey, you know what, Mike? You mentioned, who was it? The Trey Smith that fell down the draft board. Well, they had a guy that fell down the draft board in Darian Kennard, who they actually got in the 5th freaking round that was supposed to be like a potential 2nd round guy.
Right.
And they never done a damn thing with him either.
A little out of position to play tackle. But I think he could have been a good guard. Like, imagine if he would have developed as a guard here, you may have been able to put him in for Tooney.
I have a hard time believing that Darian Kennard would have been much of a drop-off from, say, a Trey Smith or somebody like that if they would have developed him at guard.
He had a lot of Trey Smith in him.
Yeah.
He was an SEC guy. He moved well. He was mean. He finished blocks. He had that in him.
Strong. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. That one was a weird one to me. Another 2 from Flapjack says, can we give a moment of silence for the O-line? Mike, let's give a moment of silence for this left tackle market, I guess. Who's out there? Let's think about it for 5 seconds. Nobody.
Yeah, we need some help. Steve, can we talk about who needs a real moment of silence? I think the real moment of silence needs to go to the Rams for signing Devontae Adams for 2 years, $46
let's talk about
million.
that for
Let's talk about this for a minute. This is wild.
What in the hell are you doing?
You wanted to move on from Cooper Kupp because you felt he was a little old and wasn't doing well in his career, and then you go out and pay $46 million and 26 guaranteed to Devontae Adams? What are wrong with these people?
I don't know if that was...
Did Les Snead fall off his bike and hit his head?
I don't know if that was their train of thought. Because Cooper Kupp's only 31 years old. Yes, he's injury-riddled. But the only reason why his production dropped off is because you draft Puka Nacua and decided to feature him in your offense. Like, when you took targets away from Kupp and gave them to Puka, and then you wonder why his production declined, that's wild. Cooper Kupp still got a lot in the tank. And mentioning that, is that something that maybe the Chiefs could look at? There's no DK Metcalf to trade for now because the Chiefs are not aggressive enough on that kind of thing. They normally try to wait around and pick the scraps off the bone in free agency. They never jump out and set a tone like some of these teams do. So do you think that they could be calling up L.A. and be like, hey, you grossly overpaid Devontae Adams and you don't need Cooper Kupp anymore? Hell, we could use a guy like that. Do you think that's happening?
Cooper Kupp fits our system probably more than a DK. Because, again, DK's a big X wide receiver that they just probably wouldn't even feature or use. We would love to see it. He'd get in the system.
But you knew it wasn't happening, right?
He'd get about 35 targets next year. Cooper Kupp, though, in my opinion, would fit our system a lot better. The thing about Cooper Kupp is that he has been injury-prone the past few years. I don't think he's finished a season in the past 3 years now that he's not missed some time due to injury. But it's because he was featured a lot there. He's not the biggest guy. He took a lot of hits. He took a lot of wear and tear. I think if you did come to Kansas City, you don't have to play him as much as that. Like, you can still feature him, but he don't have to be the go-to every play kind of guy. Like, you still got Hollywood, you've still got Rashee Rice, you've still got Xavier Worthy. I think he would just become a piece, but you're also taking a chance on, is he just going to be the next D-Hop, decoy? Like, are we just going to go get Cooper Kupp to do that? So, I think you mentioned it. I don't think Brett Veach and the Chiefs are aggressive enough to go get a guy like that. I don't think that they'll even offer it. Like, I don't know how the Chiefs didn't offer a 7th-round pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars or a 6th round to go get Christian Kirk. I thought he fit our offense perfectly. There's plenty of guys out here. They're just not being aggressive. They're not doing it. And then it comes down to the whole argument. Well, our team's afraid to trade with us. Will they not deal with us? I don't think that's the case.
It's probably more that they don't think they need a wide receiver. And that's the thing. I said this yesterday or whenever, I don't know. We've been live every damn day for a year, it seems like. But, hey, they had the left tackle thing going on, right? They know we need a left tackle, but I don't know if they think it's as dire as the fan base does.
I don't see how you can't think wide receiver is not dire.
You mean
because listen to this.
Do you mean left tackle?
No, left tackle's dire, but you just said I don't think they need a wide receiver.
I don't. Probably not. Andy never thinks they need anything. Andy thinks they can play with a water boy.
Yeah, he's really like next guy up. But look, you do have Hollywood Brown. Fine, he's played here one season. He missed 3/4 of the season. So Can you really guarantee that he's going to play? You got Rashee Rice now getting ready to face suspension after coming back from a major knee injury. May he show up and do well, and it looks like the knee injury's behind him? Absolutely. But is there a good 70% chance that he don't look quite the same, at least for a little while, and maybe that suspension gets hit a little harder than we think? Very good possibility. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. Is it quite possible that now he's been on tape and they know how to defend him? Maybe he hits a little sophomore slump. And then who do you have? We didn't re-sign back D-Hop. We're not hopefully going back to the tank with Mecole Hardman and Justin Watson again. Justin Ross has been just a pipe dream. They're never playing him. So who do you have behind that? You've got an injury guy, you've got a guy coming off injury, and you've got a second-year player that's very susceptible to a new defense game plan that could possibly limit what he can do, and then he's going to have to figure out how to get over that hump, sophomore slump kind of thing. So
right. Well, I
don't
think
you always need weapons?
For sure. I think there's one re-signing that makes sense in that room, and that's Juju. But, of course, Juju's injury-prone as well.
Juju's another injury-prone guy.
He's not like a huge piece. He's not somebody that's going to go out and put up 100 yards every game, but he will move the chains from time to time. He's a smart, experienced player that's pretty young.
We forget very quickly, Steve, that you had to sign Juju in the offseason last year because why? We were in injury trouble. We needed wide receivers. Okay? We had to go get D-Hop because why? We needed wide receivers. We were in injury trouble. So you can go from, oh, we're good, to we desperately need somebody in that quick. We've seen it happen time and time again for years because we don't never have the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, the alpha guys that seem to stay healthy or this and that. Like, we're constantly running the plug-and-play method. We run it with Patrick Mahomes protection and Patrick Mahomes weapons. And me and you've talked about this time and time again. Any other quarterback here but Patrick Mahomes would be struggling with what they're doing to him.
Struggling with it.
The Chiefs are not aggressive. They don't go out and do it. And I know a lot of people's like, well, but they win. They win. They win. They win because Patrick Mahomes is good enough to carry the franchise when Patrick Mahomes is good, right? But if Patrick Mahomes has a little bit of a down season like last year, you see a lot of potential problems pop up because it turns into Patrick Mahomes has to do everything all the time. That's tough.
Flapjack with the 2 says, put Travis at left tackle.
Probably
I mean, the way he was, Mike, the way he was blocking in the Super Bowl, I mean, I think they should put him over at left tackle. He was putting on a clinic.
Yeah.
Get a 2-bomb from Hannah. Says, told you DK wasn't coming to KC. Hannah, we knew DK wasn't coming. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We were just saying we wish they would do it. That's all. But that's something that me and Mike's talked about for years. The Chiefs are usually not very aggressive in free agency or even trying to make trades. They're just not. They always wait until they almost have to. Like even with D-Hop, they outright said they wanted DeAndre Hopkins. They wanted to trade for him when he requested a trade from Arizona. They didn't do it. Then when he was a free agent, they didn't offer him enough to get him over here, and he went and put up a 1,000-yard season in Tennessee. And then what did they do? They waited till halfway through last season to throw something their way to get him, and then at that point he's just decoy Hopkins. I don't know. I think the Chiefs are just not very.
That teaches you a lesson, though, doesn't it? The Chiefs are never going to go out and get somebody at their price. They've always got to come to us when they're willing to bite the bullet and take the Chiefs' offerings. And
well, I mean, that was even really on D-Hop. That's a trade,
right?
So
but I understand that's smart business. But that also means that you don't tend to land a lot of weapons. You land a lot of guys that have, potential possibly. Somebody like Kadarius Toney who never seems to work out.
Oh, Kadarius. And
then, you get a D-Hop, but you get him so late in his career and you decide you can't use him and he's not even effective. So sometimes I think you can be a little too conservative. And I know they always look good. Brett Veach always looks good. I give him all the credit for building teams and this and that and everything else. But sometimes they do play it just a little too conservative a lot. Maybe they have to out of necessity. Maybe they don't. But it just makes for non-exciting off seasons. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, usually they'll do something you're not expecting. Like the Jawan Taylor thing. No one saw that one coming. That was kind of odd.
The way that played out, does that really strike you crazy if they were to come out tomorrow and announce a 3-year deal for like Dan Moore for like 65, 80 million?
No, I wouldn't like it, but it wouldn't surprise me.
That would not surprise me one bit because that's the MO of how we've ran the offseason for the past few years.
Yeah.
Just reaching on mediocrity, paying them way too much money, and then having to be in the same situation.
Figure it out, Patrick. Figure it out, buddy. Hannah with a 2-bomb says, wouldn't be surprised if we signed defensive tackle Jonathan Taylor. It's a 2-bomb kind of day. Jonathan Allen. Here's the thing. I think it really hinges on if they can get something done with Turk Wharton. I'm sure they're trying to. But as we mentioned yesterday, Turk Wharton's one of the defensive linemen. There were 2 defensive linemen in the 5 hottest free agents right now. And one was Deo Adeyingbo, which is a defensive end that we had talked about the Chiefs could take a stab at if they could get a good deal on him, which I think he's going to be priced out. And then, of course, Turk Wharton was on that list. So a lot of teams apparently have interest in Turk Wharton. So I think it really hinges on if they get him back. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if they look at Jonathan Allen. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's possible. There's also a lot of good draft names there at defensive tackle. I think it's a decent year for a defensive tackle draft class.
It is.
Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss is good. I think Mason Graham out of Michigan's good. Derek Harmon out of Oregon's good. And then, Steve, we watch UK. They've got a monster in the middle, Deion Walker. He kind of reminds me of kind of like a Derek Nottie. He's more dynamic than Derek Nottie, but if you ever notice the Chiefs, when they go to defensive tackle, they don't draft or they don't sign or draft guys that remind you of Chris Jones. They go get like big 3-4 looking guys, and it feels weird. They did that with Colburn. They've done it with all the guys they bring in free agency. They always want to get like a big run stuffer, like a Pinnell kind of guy,
right?
Which is kind of odd. We don't really play a lot of 3-4. I don't know why they tend to do that a lot.
Yeah, I'm not for sure, but you're right.
We do a lot of stuff that just doesn't make a lot of sense when you look at it in retrospect.
It's very weird. It's almost like to the point to where it's such a pattern that you know what they're going to do before they do it, but you don't want to accept it. You know what I'm saying? Like even yesterday we talked about how, man, if it was me, we'd probably take a stab at the DK Metcalf trade.
This is why you preface it by saying, if this was me.
Yeah, because we already know that they're not going to do something like that.
Yeah. If we said, if this were Veach, he would sign a random person at 3:00 in the morning.
Mike, we got a 5 from Covey. He says, what you think of Tez Johnson? Not saying we need him, just want to know your opinion.
Yeah.
So Tez Johnson, that's Bo Nick's adopted brother, isn't it? From Oregon.
Basically, yeah, he lived with the Knicks family for a while. He had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
For real.
I like the kid okay. I don't think he's anything special. I definitely don't think to me, he's obviously a day 2 guy. I think he was like 20th ranked overall in the combine and wide receivers. Not very athletic. He ranked like 44th in athleticism. 11th in production though. He's a 4.5 140 guy. To me, he's nothing special. He was like, I think what helped him at Oregon was he was a high volume guy. He got a lot of targets, and that's pretty much all I saw from him. I didn't see anything special, Mike.
Yeah, it was him. It was him and Evan Stewart. I waited for Evan Stewart. Like when I watched film on Evan Stewart, I waited for him to be productive, and he just didn't show the flashes. Tez Johnson showed flashes of fun. He showed flashes of being a playmaker. But when he got to the combine, that 4.5 140 kind of just ate it. Now, I will say he did a 1.53 10-yard split. His vert was pretty good. Tiny little T-Rex arms, but what do you expect from a guy that's 5'9", you know? I thought he did. This is what was odd, too. He ran a 4.5 140, but then he clocked one of the fastest times running the drills. So it's one of those things where it's like play speed was better than his testing speed.
Yeah,
so
I think so
he
too.
He will get himself in the second or third round. I do think wide receivers kind of deep, so it's possible you're going to see like a Kyle Williams, an Alec Ailmaner, Savion, Jack Besh, even Isaiah Bond are falling into the second round. So if Tez Johnson was to get down into the third or early fourth, it would not surprise me. And like you said, it also wouldn't surprise me if the Broncos didn't look to bring him in and play with Bo Nix.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But either way, I think he did show that he was a decent route runner. He was pretty smart, a little clever. He can find soft spots in the defense. I guess if I had to say from his tape, Mike, he looked a little faster on tape than he did at the combine, to be quite honest, when you saw it. I think like ceiling for him, like best case scenario, he could be like a Tank Dell kind of guy, maybe.
I think that's reaching on him too.
Exactly.
I don't think
that's the best case scenario is what I'm saying.
Yeah, if I had to compare him to somebody, it would be like Geez, I don't even know. Just a little guy that's going to play the slot a little bit, and he could be productive from time to time, but I don't think he's going to be anything that's like just like going to blow the roof off the NFL or anything. You know what I mean?
Tutu Atwell.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, that's a good comparison if he does well. I mean, Tutu's done decently well. He's just going to be a slot. He's a slot guy, and he's just if you can press him, if you can do things, he's going to be. You know, I think there's many better options there.
Yeah, for sure. Hannah with the 10 says, Mike, disagree. Rams have Stafford, what she meant to say, for 2 years. They're in win mode now. Adams played on average 17 games per season, 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and one of 16 wide receivers with over 2.5 yards per route run against man coverage last season, Michael.
What do you disagree with?
She thinks that was a good deal. She thinks they should have paid him that much money.
You think paying him $40 million is a good deal? I don't know. I can't get on board
That's
with
tough
that.
for me too, Hannah. I don't know about it.
I can't get on board with that. That's a little rich.
It's rich. We'll see. I'm sure he'll do fine. I mean, he is a great receiver. It's just for his age. How old is he now? He's got to be like, what, 32, 33? How old is Devontae? Devontae Adams. He's 32. They got a 2-year deal. I don't know. Might be a little rich for my blood, too. Mike don't like it. He's just staring at us creepily.
I was listening to you. I don't know what to tell you. I wouldn't have paid him that. I don't know. I don't care if I got Matt Stafford. I don't care if I got Peyton Manning. I don't think I'd have paid him that.
Cobra Kai Ty in the house. What's up, my man? He's a member for 19 months now. Let's go, baby. Says, what's up, fam? Hope everyone is well and doing good. Finally over my Super Bowl depression. Like the new banner behind you, Steve. Veach is in Dollar Tree mode. He will bring Hardman back instead of Cooper Kupp, LOL. You ain't lying, brother. You ain't lying. That's probably what we're looking at here. I mean, ideally, they would make some type of move and get some kind of. Mike, here's my main thing. It's not even to me that they have to have a guy like Cooper Kupp or DK Metcalf or anything like that. But what you said yesterday really hit home with me, and I think it should with a lot of you guys. Our offense is stale as shit. It has been bad for 3 years now. I understand they won 2 Super Bowls in a row, but they did that with an offense that was lackluster. They kind of hit it the right time and like fired it up a little bit in the playoffs each year. And then you saw it rear its ugly head in the Super Bowl where they couldn't do jack. I mean, this offense has been stale. I think they've got to do something to switch it up. And if they're not switching it up as far as offensive coordinator, because it looks like Matt Nagy's going to be here, Andy Reid's still going to be calling the shots. I think you got to do something to freshen that thing up, man. I mean, you got Travis Kelce, who's getting too old to do as much as he used to do. Hollywood was a fresh little thing last year at the end of the year, kind of helped spark the offense a little bit. So it's cool that he's going to be back. We'll get Rashee Rice back as well. But I still think you got to do something to freshen it up a little bit. Because if you go and sign McCole Hardman and Justin Watson in the same old, you're getting the same product is what you're going to have. You're going to see the same struggling offense, the same stale crap that everyone's tired of seeing. I think they've got to do something to freshen it up and bring some new blood in here.
Yeah, it's wild, Steve, that if you look at this free agency wide receiver class, your top free agents that are on the board right now is 31, 33, 31, 29, 32, 28.7, and that's Deontay Johnson. Ain't nobody want to touch him with a 10-foot pole after what happened last season with him. Tyler Lockett, 32, D-Hop, 33. Mike Williams, 30. Robert Woods, 33. Like, what happened? Did the old folks home let out and everybody decided to come play football? Like, I don't know what's going on, man. If you look down the list, the only people that fit the Chiefs' MO, and look, I think Stephon Diggs could be a target.
Man, Mike.
As a big name, but at the same time, I think that's too big of a name. Brett Veach is not.
It's not even that. It's just the freaking attitude that kid has. And then
That's
think
true
about
too.
this for a second. You mentioned this yesterday in a personal conversation we had. But can you imagine Stephon Diggs coming to the Chiefs and them only giving him 2 targets a game and him not doing it? He'd throw a hissy fit in
loses
2.5 seconds. He would be nothing but a crybaby on the sideline throwing a hissy fit. There's no way he's going to do that. He's just not going to do it. His ego's too big.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna happen.
If I go down the board and there's people that I see, like again, Juju at 28 years old, Papa Juju might be the youngest guy on the board. I think Juju might be a guy.
It feels like he's been in the league for 28 years.
It does because he come in so young. Juju might be a guy you could 1 year, okay? You could maybe 1 year Juju. If he'll do it again, how many times can you 1 year this dude to death? So this is who fits the Chiefs, in my opinion. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't try to make a play at Elijah Moore. Okay? He's been a journeyman. He's not really caught on. He's only 24. He's getting ready to be 25 when the season starts. He was a round 2 pick out of Ole Miss that didn't really pan out. Okay? He's not really going to garner a lot. He signed a 4-year, $8 million deal rookie year. So, I mean, this is his first payday. You think people's going to give him that much money? Probably not. He may even be playing on a prove it. I would like to see maybe De'Ami Brown. He's 25. He'll be 25 when the season starts, going on 26 by the time the season's around. He actually has the same agent as Elijah Moore. Again, he's been kind of underperforming, but he's a guy that's got a lot of potential. De'Ami Brown was a home run threat. He was a bigger body. He's still shifty in space. I thought when Washington would throw him the ball, this year, he did a lot better than he was doing in years past, so I do believe there was a glimpse. And then if you wanted to go, a little bit off the beaten path, Steve, I kind of like Josh Palmer out of the Chargers. Josh Palmer always does well against us. He's a round 3 guy. He's 4 years in. He's not really, lit it up, but to me, he's got some potential. Those are 3 guys that I could see the Chiefs maybe grabbing for cheaper. And I believe that besides Juju, De'Ami Brown, Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore, those are the 3 guys that would maybe fall into my wheelhouse that Brett Veach would kick the tires on. Again, that's what I think. And I don't, at the end of the day, I don't think Brett Veach, out of all those guys, maybe Elijah Moore the most. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
That just feels like a Brett Veach kind of guy.
A guy that hasn't really panned out.
Yeah.
Let's take our chances.
You can get them for pennies and see what happens.
Yeah. Got a freaking 20 bomb from our boy Ty here. He says, hit that freaking like button, guys, and right on time because it's about that time for that spiel here. So do your boys a favor and hit that like button. Help us out. Get this out to more people. It's the off season. We got to get more people involved. We just do. The Chiefs got some redemption at hand, okay? They got to get this thing together here. So do us a favor. Hit the like button. If you're watching on X or Facebook, share it out to your friends, family, followers, all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys. And just anytime you have a chance in life, Mike, if it just comes up in everyday conversation, the Chiefs or whatever, just tell a friend or another Chiefs fan about All Chiefed Up. That goes a long way. Appreciate the 20 bomb, Ty. That's freaking awesome, brother. And then William with the 2 Canadian says Chiefdom misses OBJ, and no OBJ slander should be allowed. So what's funny about that, William, is we got absolutely torched when we said that the Chiefs should make sure they keep Orlando Brown Jr. and they should sign him. Literally, everyone came with their pitchforks and told us how stupid we were. And now the same people are like, looks like we should have kept Orlando Brown Jr.
I think the writing was on the wall that if you did get rid of Orlando Brown Jr. was not by any means
and it was a bit of an overpay, but he was at least it would have been the same left tackle, one that Mahomes trusted regardless of how well he played. They were buddies. He trusted him. Patrick Mahomes played much, much better and more freely when he was the left tackle. And it's been nothing but a shit show ever since.
Steve, I think it's wild. Here, I'll bring this in for you really quick. Give me 1 second. I think it's wild that Chiefs Kingdom, by the way, they blast this guy. I remember them blasting the Bengals when they signed him in the offseason. I remember all season long this year they were blasting him. He can't block. He stinks. This is why we didn't want to pay him. Blah, blah, blah. Is OBJ really that bad? I mean, look, this is his stats, Steve. If you could take that comment off there for me. He had 637 offensive snaps and played 441 pass block snaps, Steve. He only had 3 sacks on 20 pressures. That's it? If you're telling me that with our left tackle performance, you wouldn't have took 3 sacks and 20 pressures, you're out of your mind.
Not even that, but it's just
I take
stability
that way
there, right?
over. And that was my point about paying him over $80 million for Taylor.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. The fact that we don't want to pay
Orlando
Brown Jr. that much.
Paid OBJ than Jawan
Yeah, that's
Taylor.
an overpay. That's an overpay. We can't have that. Everybody throwing a fit about it. But then everybody was okay with signing Jawan Taylor for $80 million. It made 0 sense. And the thing about it is, whether Orlando Brown Jr. is that upper echelon of left tackle or not, which he isn't, but he still would have been here this entire time, getting more settled into this offense. There would have been some stability, consistency. We've done nothing but have a carousel at left tackle ever since.
If you look at left tackle, your tier 1 guys, you've got your Trent Williams, you've got your Laramie Tunsil's possibly. These guys are starting to get a little older. And then you've got your tier 2. I think Orlando Brown is firmly right at the top of tier 2 probably. And here we are sitting on tier 3 and tier 4 throwing rocks at the Bengals.
We're sitting on tier
because this guy allowed 20 total pressures.
Please give me a crumb of a tackle, please. More porridge, sir.
It's wild.
That's where we're at.
It's wild that Chiefs Kingdom really attacked that dude like they did.
Hey, and they would even come up with the most batshit insane excuses like, they have to chip over there. They have to help him. That's every left tackle in the league, moron. That's how the NFL works. You chip guys off the edge. Like, they were coming up with all kinds of dumb stuff.
Hindsight's 2020, and there's been some things we were wrong about, but I think when we said Jawan Taylor was an overpay at $80 million and we'd have much rather gave it to OBJ, I think here we are years later, and I think that was one we can count as a win.
It doesn't matter, Michael. It doesn't matter what you said.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Hannah with the 5 says Adams' contract is not as rich as the headline. Rams can move from him in 2026 with $12 million in dead cap and $18 million in savings. I'm a contract nerd. You freaking nerd, Hannah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll work out for him. No idea. But I don't even care because it's the Rams. It's not the Chiefs. Mike, there were actually people that thought the Chiefs would go after Devontae Adams.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's wild. No
DK.
You're not getting DK Metcalf. They would never trade for DK Metcalf because that's too expensive. But man, they would Devontae Adams though. I don't know. Sometimes I'm confused when we talk about this kind of stuff. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about Chris Godwin too. Like Chris Godwin, think he's cool, but also going to be expensive. Don't think the Chiefs will go that route.
29.
And
Did he
as
have
I
an
say
injury
that,
last year?
they might do it today. Do what?
Did he have an injury last year?
I don't
When
think
did he have the injury?
I think it was
Remember, he missed
2
a lot
years
of time
ago.
with the injury.
Yeah, it wasn't last season.
Let me see what he did last year. I'm
He had,
curious.
he had a good season last year.
Did he?
Yes.
He did for a little while, I remember.
Yes, he did. Him and what's his name? What's Johnny Manziel's name? Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
I thought you were trying to think of Mike Evans. I was like, what?
No.
I don't know what is going on, but apparently the internet was attacked by China today because every
Probably.
website has been down.
Yeah, you can't
It's
get nothing to
incredible.
work. I'm surprised
Nothing's
this is going.
working.
I'm surprised this is going. I'm not exactly sure what this name is, but I'm just going to say Slammin' Sam Ho with a 2. It says, I hope the Chiefs draft Arante Arce in round 2. Mike likes Arce a little bit. I think he's a viable option for a later pick. Definitely not first round. Round 2, do you like that, Mike? If they stick around, they're at the end of round 2, and he's sitting there, even though he's got T-Rex arms, are you okay with that one? Do you think that's a good project?
Right. Ursary is a 6'6", 331. He's out of Kansas City. He's a Kansas City product.
Yep.
He's got under 34-inch arms, but it's 33 and an eighth, so that's right around. I mean, people's wanting to pay Jaylon more. Okay, that's not too much shorter than him. He started for 3 years at Minnesota. He was fine. He doesn't bend naturally. He doesn't create leverage very well, but he is a monster when he gets out in the run game. He's just a massive human. He reminds me of like Broderick Jones from last year, right? Like Broderick Jones was a monster. And then Ursary, and then who was the other cat that they drafted a couple years ago that was just a monster guy? And I remember maybe it was Broderick Jones, the kid from Georgia that didn't hardly play a lot in college, and he was just a massive machine. But that's what Ursary reminds me of a little bit. But yeah, he's got his hips are a little tight. He struggles to get to the next level sometimes because he is a bigger guy, but I mean, he's fine. I would take a shot on him maybe in the second round. I don't think he gets it to the first. At least for now, I don't think he gets it to the first. Second round, you're going to look at him somewhere around, you got Kingsley, okay? And again, he might be more equipped to play earlier than Kingsley. I'll give you that. He may be more equipped to play earlier. Kingsley was a lot more of a project, in my opinion. But he's not as athletic as Kingsley. So it is what it is. There's trade-offs with everybody. I have to do a lot more digging in with left tackles. Right now, he's not in my top 5 left tackles. So he's sitting right outside. Right now, he's right like number 6 or number 7 for me. So, I mean, yeah, I got him in the second round range. That would be a fine selection in the second round.
Appreciate the 2, Slam and Sam
Appreciate you,
Ho.
man.
Hannah with the 2 says Chiefs only shop in the clearance aisle for players. Mike, if Brett Veach was out shopping for a brand new pair of trousers, if he was going to get some jeans, some breeches, what would he be doing? Would he be at Buckle looking for, $100 pair of jeans, or would he be at TJ Maxx trying to score a deal? What do you think?
He'd browse at TJ Maxx.
Go to Goodwill.
He'd go to Goodwill.
Go to
And not just
Salvation
any Goodwill,
Army.
He would have to make sure it was the tag, the exact color tag
You
day
know
to
what,
get that
Mike?
99-cent deal.
I'm
baby.
gonna one up you. I don't even think he goes to Goodwill. I think he hits up the first yard sale he sees, tries to find him a pair of quarter jeans.
He's yard selling.
Some old 90-year-old lady. How much do you want for these? She says, I'd like 35 cents. And he's like, how about a quarter? And she's like, okay. Like that's what Veach would be doing.
And then he pulls like the little guy that collects the taxes on the Robin Hood cartoon from Disney. He puts it in the pot. He gives her the quarter, but it's got a string on it. It comes back to his pocket. Brett Veach is like the guy that takes our taxes, dude. I mean, I don't know if it's his fault. It's funny because, I mean, we've won doing it this way. But, boy, it puts a lot of stress on Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. Like, we ask a lot of Patrick Mahomes, and then people complain that he's got such a big contract. And it's like, yeah, I think it needs to be bigger.
I just have this mental image of Brett Veach at some old lady's yard sale.
Ripping off an old lady.
Yeah. We take a quarter for it.
He just gives her like a cutout piece of like something that's not even a quarter. He's just like,
I can't.
she said, "Sir, this is a wood chip."
I can't with it. We're talking. The funny part is we're talking about a dude that has been a GM for a team that's been to six Super Bowls in the last 7 years.
No, it's not.
Something like that.
Six Super Bowls. What are you talking about, dude?
I might have exaggerated a bit, but you know what I'm trying to
funny.
say. That is good. That's good stuff. I see some guys talking about some running backs in the comments. We'll be releasing a video. Well, actually, we'll probably just do it live. We're going to do it live because Chiefs Kingdom, as much as we love you, you hate draft content and videos in the off season. You won't click it. You won't click it. You won't watch it. So we can't. Why waste our time editing it and putting it out? That's pretty wild. So we'll just do that bad boy live, and we'll talk about our top 10 running backs in this year's draft class. That'll be a fun one, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to you might be doing it with me today, but I think I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get my top 10 together. I've finished watching film on almost every one of them. So I think I'm confident enough to get a top 10, an initial top 10 here. Of course, after pro day, all these might move. You may have the wide receivers move from our initial top 10. The closer we get, they will jump. But I'm comfortable giving my initial top 10 right now. And there's a few names in there that I really like. And there's a few fits for the Chiefs that I can definitely see. And spoiler alert, Ollie Gordon isn't one of them. I don't know how in the world or why we interviewed with Ollie Gordon. Like, I have no idea what that was
with
about.
some weird fits last year, if I remember correctly.
Ollie Gordon he kind of, you know what I mean? Like, he's a big body wide receiver. He looks like a
wide receiver.
I mean, a running back, sorry. He looks kind of like a big-time, like, Le'Veon Bell or something, which we did go grab in the offseason when he was 300 years old and we got him for a quarter.
The usual, the Chiefs MO, hey, is his career over? Let's try it now.
Yeah, try him out. See what he's got.
Was he elite at one point, but now he kind of stinks? Let's sign him.
That was an odd one to interview. I've watched film on him. I just don't see how he fits with the Chiefs. It's weird to me. I don't see it, but...
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. P. Swizzle with the 2 says bigger need, running back or safety. We think, Michael, they've invested a teeny bit in safety.
I would have to go safety, though, still, because you've got Jaden Hicks again. He's susceptible to a sophomore slump. You've got Brian Cook, and I just don't know if Brian Cook is the answer there.
Do you
can't
figure out a way to pay
Reed.
Justin Reed? Do you figure that out?
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Either.
Safety may be it. Running back, you can always 1 year Kareem Hunt back, maybe.
Oh, we need to do that regardless. You got to do that regardless.
You still got Pacheco under contract. That's fine. You still got Carson Steele, who I believe in, and I think they do too. And you can always get a UDFA running back and bring them in and have something. And I think they've even put Keontae Ingram back on a futures deal or something, didn't they? Something weird. Maybe not Keontae Ingram. I don't remember who it was. They were looking at Amani Bailey last year, though. Remember, he was working around, and I mean, he'll probably still be a name you hear about.
Yep, we got a 2 from Jason. Says, I agree, keeping DJ and plugging in Kingsley. Mike, how crazy would Chiefs Kingdom go? How many pitchforks would be pulled out in a heartbeat if they were like, you know what? We're just going to re-sign DJ, and we're not even going to draft left tackle because we have Kingsley to develop.
People would lose their mind.
Dude, what if they do? Is it going to look like the Water Boy where they're outside with the pitchforks?
I don't think so. I think I would be a little irritated because I think after watching Kingsley, I love Kingsley. I just think that after watching him, I think he's more suited to play the right tackle position or maybe a guard position. I just don't know if he's going to get there at left tackle.
Okay, and why is that? Do you think it's just footwork? What do you think it is? I mean, we know he's got the athletic abilities.
Yeah, the athleticism.
What's holding him up?
It's experience, in my opinion. I don't think he played enough in college, so I think he's going to be 3-4 years behind the 8 ball here in the NFL. And now you're not learning against maybe inferior competition to get up to speed. Now you're learning against the best of the best. And another thing that I think really bothers our offensive line, we were talking about developing and what's his name, Andy Heck. One thing that I think prevents development of our offensive line is we don't have the most top-tier defensive linemen that go against them day in and day out in practice. So, Charles Omeni, he was hurt. So who did Kingsley go against all offseason? I don't think he went against George Karlaftis coming off that side. He went against Mike Dana a little bit, but Mike Dana probably didn't do much. He went against, the kid from What, Joshua Kando? No, they wasn't even Kando. It
Nah,
was the
he's
kid
gone.
from Georgia.
I'm talking about Herring.
Yeah, Malik Herring. They're going against guys like that. And it's like, yeah, you can look good in practice against Malik Herring, but when you come out there against Trey Hendrickson, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going against these like top tier defensive ends in practice to develop against either.
That's true. That's true. Casey Lion Squad been a member for a month now. Says, in my opinion, Andy Reid has become conservative in his play calling each year with the Chiefs. When he was in Philly, he ran a more dynamic offense. I do think the older that Andy's got, the more conservative he's got. But here's the problem. It's very hard to be conservative when you refuse to run the football. So trying to run a conservative offense where you're passing the ball 98% of the time, that's just a recipe for disaster, isn't it? And I mean, I think we saw it on the national stage in the Super Bowl. Like, this crap ain't working, Andy. You got to figure something out. Like, if you're going to be conservative, run the football. If you're going to pass 98% of the time, then pull out the plays, baby. Make it happen. Risk it a little bit. And I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes throwing it into triple coverage or trying to sneak one behind freaking Cooper DeJean for no apparent reason. I'm talking like let's design the stuff this way. Come on, man. I don't know. I'm with you. Something's got to get freshened up a little bit.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat asked about here we go, Bigfoot. He said, where we at with the salary cap after Bolton and Smith? So
salary cap? What's that?
Here, I'll bring this up for you. I want you to see it with your own eyes so you don't think I'm lying.
I'm a Bills and Eagles fan. I don't know what the salary cap is.
Nobody trusts
What is
me.
that?
Look, if you can see this, so over the cap, I think they're pretty up to date here. We're still $9 million over. We're in the red. We're still $9 million. We've got to get $9 million done before Wednesday. Something has to happen. But look at where this is coming from, by the way. Cap number. Mahomes has taken $66 million in cap
Taylor
this year.
at number 3 is disgusting.
Yes. So look, Mahomes takes $66 million. That's a lot, but they're going to convert some of that over to signing bonus. Jawan Taylor that gets $27 million is insane. Trey Smith is on a $23.4 million thanks to the franchise tag. So that should come down theoretically. You've got to get Jawan Taylor to restructure this $27 million. I'm sorry, but he has to come down closer to a number somewhere around $16 to $17 million tops. And I would still be pissed about that, but you're not going to be able to get him to do it probably. If you can get him down to $20 million, that saves you $7. So you get Trey Smith signed up here, and his first year deal is probably going to be somewhere around the $10 million mark. Maybe 15, but you're going to be a lot better in 23. Kelsey at almost $20 million this year may have to do something. You've got to convert something over and get that down. The fact that Drew Tranquil is your highest paid defensive player besides Chris Jones is wild to me. Okay, because he didn't have a great year, but the contract's not bad. Mike Dana being your third highest defensive player is wild. Okay, what in the hell are we doing? And then let's see. Harrison Butker is in the top 10 of our player salaries. Like, what are we doing? So I think McDuffie and Karlaftis here at 4.4 and 3.7, those will probably try to be extended somewhere this offseason or during the year. I think the earlier the better because you're going to keep getting more J.C. Horn $100 million contracts on Trent McDuffie here. So you've got to do something there, but it's not really going to help cap this year. I mean, you're not going to get no better than 4 or 3. So look, if you look at our cap, like we don't have a lot of players that we pay big money to. We just don't. It's literally Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes is taking up $100 million of the cap, and then Jawan Taylor and Travis Kelce's taking the rest of it.
Well,
it's insane.
All 4 of those guys need to be restructured. I mean, that's 100%. A serious conversation that they have to have. Like, there's not a damn one of those that can't afford to restructure and help this team out.
Honestly, if I were the Chiefs, I would try to restructure Josh Williams and Jaylon Watson too. I would try to lock them up for at least 3 or 4 more years, if nothing more, for more depth. I think Josh Williams does a serviceable job at being depth.
They're going to use him.
Exactly, but I mean, yeah, you're right, because you're probably going to be able to get a rookie just as expensive, and they'll probably use them just as much. So more than likely, you will probably see Josh Williams gone. Leo might get the extension. I think Leo will get it. I think Karlaftis will get it. I think Trent McDuffie will get it. Noah Gray got it last year. Hollywood's on a 1 year, and I don't even know if that's updated at 6.6 cap number. It could be. The rest of it could be signing bonus or something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
I mean, we're just in some weird cap issues that Drew Tranquil and Mike Dana are your second and your third highest paid
That's
defenders.
pretty wild.
That
Mike
is
Dana.
insane, dude. So, it is what it is, man. They've got some work to do. They got to get $9 million off the cap by Wednesday.
Yep. We got a 2 from Hannah. It says Khalil Mack just re-signed with the Chargers for 1 year, $18 million guaranteed. How old's Khalil Mack now? He's getting up there too, ain't he? I don't know if that's, honestly, Khalil Mack hasn't really been Khalil Mack the last couple of years, I don't think.
Right.
Like he's not as scary as he used to be. Like back in the day when you're like, dang, we gotta go against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. When that first happened, you're like, dang, man. Now it's kind of like, it is what it is. Let's see here. We got a freaking 5 bomb from our boy Flapjack. Says running back Jaden Blue would open the offense wide open. Crown, this is a hot take or a spoiler alert. Andy wants to play with the Chiefs, Flapjack. He said it. He said, my favorite quarterback's Patrick Mahomes, so I'd pick the Chiefs. You think that's a match made in heaven there, Michael? Like old Flapjack does?
Blue's okay. He's fine. He ran really fast. I mean, he wasn't one of my most favorite running backs on tape, but I wouldn't be surprised. He looks like he would probably play with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it, Flapjack. I wouldn't be mad at it. I think they're going to probably draft a running back sometime. We'll see. Maybe not, but I mean, if there's one there and available that's at the top of their board, I think they'll do it. They won't hesitate. Mike, we got a freaking 25 bomb from our boy Peter Ortiz. He says, bring on the videos. Let's go, Peter. Appreciate you. I'll put some legendaries in chat for Peter. We're going to bring on the videos. There'll be videos. So be on the lookout for those. Just don't know if the videos will be 100% draft related. That's what I was saying earlier. We might do a lot of the draft stuff on the live streams because that seems to be where a lot of the draft crowd is. As far as the videos go, we need those to be as clickable as possible. And for some reason, draft content during draft time isn't clickable on YouTube. Football fans are weird. Football fans are strange people. But there be some
I really
videos
wish
here.
X would get it together, man.
It's not
We're
happening.
getting tons of info coming through, and X is completely just crashing.
It doesn't matter.
It's so annoying, dude.
Come on,
we're in the
Elon.
heart of free agency here, and we can't get this to work.
Elon's out there saving us hundreds of billions of dollars in tax money. He ain't got time for X right now. He don't care. He don't care if X isn't refreshing.
I don't care
Appreciate
about
the
refreshing. I want
25, Peter.
something.
But yeah, for sure. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that. We do a lot of Chiefs content, a lot more coming up. We'll be doing it all off season, over and over and over again. There's never an off season when you're covering the Chiefs. There's a small off season for the NFL in general. They're kind of closing that gap. They keep adding a little bit more and a little bit more. And between free agency, the draft, and everything else, there's just not a whole lot of an off season anymore. So yeah, do that and hit that notification bell. That way you can stay up to date. We'll jump on here when any news happens.
I'm trying to find out some news here. I got a message on my phone from somebody telling me that the Chiefs may have just signed someone, and I can't find it anywhere because this won't work. So I can't find Ian Rappaport. I can't get Google to work. Nothing's working.
Oh, Mike, why are you being cryptic, though? Why don't you tell your friends what you've been told? Jaylon Moore is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm hearing that the Chiefs are going to sign Jaylon Moore to a 2-year, $30 million
Okay, Mike, this
deal.
is the option that we liked. Or if they were going to take one of those, at least they took the backup, the kid that's younger and actually had good grades when he was in there, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. That's cool. So what does that mean for DJ Humphrey? He a no-go?
He probably ain't coming back then.
He a no-go? You think they go straight with this Jaylon Moore kid? And just start him? You think that's what's going to happen?
I just don't know if this is real or not. The only thing that's coming through...
Well, I think it's real. Jason says Jay Moore, 2-year, $30 million to KC.
Some kid named Ari Pooley is the only one that announced it, guys, and he is I don't even know what he does. Like, he's got 3,000 followers on Twitter, so I don't know where he's getting that from. I'm not being able to find it from, like, Ian Rappaport or Schefter, and, I mean, it's tough to trust.
Yeah, Chiefs Blitz put it out, but Chiefs Blitz puts out a lot of stuff.
They'll just say whatever.
He'll just make stuff up sometimes. Let's see here. Jaylon Moore to the Chiefs. Chris
it's not a bad signing if it is true. We did determine earlier in the broadcast that he was the guy. This just came through 30 seconds ago. Chris Godwin is off the market. He's going back to Tampa. He signed a 3-year, $66 million deal.
Okay, so according to Diana Rossini, Jaylon Moore to the Chiefs. So I think there's some.
Okay, so now I'll trust.
There's some fire to the smoke, man. Let's do it. So
Hassan Reddick has signed with the Bucks.
Yeah, so Jaylon Moore. So that's going to be your starting left tackle, you think? They said you played well enough backing up Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Trent Green. Imagine Trent Green over there playing left tackle. You did good enough backing up Trent Williams that we're gonna throw you a freaking bone here. You think that's what happened? Do you like it?
I don't hate it. It was better than Dan Moore.
He was definitely the best Moore option, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sadly. So it's just, it's one of those things, man. Like, it could have been worse. That puts a lot of doubt for DJ Humphries now. But then again, you could sign DJ Humphries for a 1-year deal and have a little bit more depth at the left tackle position.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think there? You think they do that? Do they go ahead and get the old vet to be hanging out on the sideline just in case? Or do they go with the young cat and rely on the young guys to back them up if they have to?
I would still bring back DJ Humphries for a season if I could get him.
Yeah. Trey, been a member 4 months, says Jaylon Moore signed $30 million 2-year deal. And then Casey Lyons scored with a 2-bomb, says ESPN alerted Jaylon Moore on my phone. So it's legit, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be your left tackle. I think it's crazy that that's your best option, but honestly, it probably was with what's out there. So I think Brett Veach kind of saw things the way that we did. He saw it through our lens where, like, these are older guys that kind of sucked. What's the point? Let's get this young guy that's showing a little bit of promise here. But could that come back to bite him? Because that's always been the MO for the last few years. Is like, let's try the young guy out. Let's try the unproven guy out. Do you think we're still on that same boat? Or do you think that the little bit of time he got to play when Williams was out, do you think that was enough to prove that he can do it? What do you think?
I mean, he's got the potential. He's got potential. And what did I say at the very beginning? I said they liked Mike Caliendo. He played with Mike Caliendo. They probably got a lot of film on the kid, and they probably talked to him at the same time they talked to Caliendo. They probably talked to him at Pro Day. They had a lot of files on this guy. And so I think he was probably on a short list because Andy Reid has been enamored with Mike Caliendo. They like the way Western Michigan develop linemen.
Yep.
They've drafted out of Central Michigan, Western Michigan over and over again. They love those small colleges in Michigan.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there it is, folks. There it is. That's some news that you've been waiting for. So with this signing, Mike, it's 2 years, $30 million. Now, what does that do to the cap space? Do you think they have some restructures already done, or that we don't know about, or what do you think?
I don't know. They still got to be under the cap, so they've probably got some stuff. They're figuring it out. They're probably going to announce some, whatever they got to do. They've got it. There's no way that they're just signing people knowing they got to be, $9 million over, and they're not there yet. So they've got whatever they've got. It's not known to everybody, but it is what it is.
Yep, Hannah with the 2-bomb says Jaylon Moore is better than Cam Robinson, and then draft one. I agree with that. I think Cam Robinson proved to be the worst tackle in football last year as far as allowing pressure. So that one just seemed a little odd to me when people were so hell-bent on that one. That's wild. I'd much rather take this young guy that's proven himself a little bit and still has a high ceiling. So,
I don't know. I'm not going to talk bad about the kid. I just think that the options were limited. Yeah. And this is what you've done now. You over and over again, you're signing people And you probably overpaid him a little bit. You know, you probably overpaid him a little bit, but let's see. Give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Yeah. What were they projecting him to sign for? Of course, they already have him listed as a left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs on Spot Rack. I was trying to see what his market value is supposed to be. His career earnings so far is just $3.8 million.
Yeah, I mean, he was a rookie coming off a rookie contract, so.
Not even that. I mean, bro, this kid is young. Maybe, do you think Brett Veach could possibly hit a home run with this one? What if he ended up being that guy and you just got him in free agency?
I mean, that's nice. Yeah, you know, that's what they're trying here, but they had no choice. I liked it better than Dan Moore. I'm telling you right now, Dan Moore from Pittsburgh was not it, and Morgan Moses was too old. So out of the three that we alerted earlier in the thing, and again, if you don't want to trust all chiefed up, we alerted the three people. So there he was. You hit. So we're a scanner, okay? We'll scan for you. We'll alert you to whatever.
Listen up here. Man. Well, it's only a matter of time before Cole's online. Everybody's like, oh, God, Cole's live. We got to go. So, I mean, let's go make a video about Jaylon Moore. Maybe we could teach you guys a little bit about this guy. You think?
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well,
I kind of like, I'm okay with it. I think with what was available, I do think this is probably the right move for Brett Veach. And it is not a risk per se, because it's not like outrageous or anything like that, but it's definitely not a solid thing that he's going to be like the left tackle. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that's what they're going with. I think that's all they have to go with. Do you think they still draft, though?
I mean, yeah, they'll take whoever's best on their board. So,
do you think this, satisfies the appetite for left tackle of Chiefs Kingdom, or do you think they're still screaming?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think they wanted a bigger name. They'd have much rather preferred Cam Robinson, and Cam Robinson's not as good, probably.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But yeah, guys, there you have it. That's, it's funny. Sometimes when we're live, things happen. I think we were live when Chris Jones signed his extension. Like, it's always right towards the end of a live stream too. You notice that?
Yeah.
Brett Veach knows how to work. He knows how to mess us up and try to make us work more.
Oh, well.
Or not let us sleep sometimes. He likes to do that. What you thinking about, Michael?
I'm seeing what else is going on.
Hey, we'll keep you updated, guys. Hit that notification bell. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Do us a favor, hit that like button on your way out. We'll probably have some more content for you coming up today, tomorrow. Keep your eyes out. And appreciate all you guys that super chatted. You guys are amazing. And everybody else for doing your thing. We'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.